I read last week that LACORSA Grand Prix Game has become available to retailers for the first time. And I figure there may be many people who would then be seeing this for the first time on a store shelf and wondering, since it's a board and card game based on 1960s Formula One, how similar or different is it from the very popular Heat Pedal to the Metal, which is also based on 1960s Formula One? Well, similarities are what I just mentioned. They're both based on 1960s Formula One. They are otherwise completely different games. In Heat, for example, everyone has the same set of cards. In the Corsa, the cards are dealt from a randomly shuffled deck, so your hand is different from everybody else's hand. But that's really where luck ends in La Corsa, unless there's a tie in the qualifying phase, which will be settled by roll of the die. Beyond that, La Corsa is entirely strategic, whereas Heat is a press your luck type game. You're constantly shuffling your small deck of cards and hoping to draw the card that you need at a given time to move further along the track and not go too fast for a corner. Whereas La Corsa, almost every action involves two players. You have the attacking player and the defending player, and whoever plays a higher card can get the spot. Don't fall off the track. And so you have to strategize, like, when do you play your strong cards or when do you play your weak cards, and kind of like outwit your opponent. Whereas in Heat, the only real player interaction is if someone's doing well, that might make you want to press your luck more than you otherwise would. And if your car ends up behind another car, it overtakes. But other than that, it's more of a solo play. Like it's a pressure luck game. I like pressure luck games, but there's no reason to give a pass on La Corsa if you have Heat, just because it has the same theme. It's a completely different game. It's a much simpler game, much easier game to learn. Like I said, if this guy plays a higher card than this guy, he gets the spot and gets to take one more turn so he can attack this car. And if he fails, then turn order moves up to the next player and so on. Once you get to the leader can discard a 1 or a 2 to pull out a gap. And then in subsequent turns, like when we get to this guy, he can play a 1, 2, or a 3 to catch up, so it's easier to catch up. But you have to mind how many 1s, 2s, and 3s you have in your hand to determine where you want to start in the grid. You want to try to qualify up front and try to hang on or try to pull away, or do you have enough 3s and 1s and 2s that you can work your way up and outwitting the opponent. It's really fun. I like it a lot. This here is a 6-player or 3-player setup. With 3 players, you have a different strategic element because you're controlling 2 cars. So if you have like these 2 cars together, then this player is attacking this player. It's the same player. You could decide based on the condition of your hands, which whether you want to have these cars swap position or hold position at the moment. For example, in the last championship that I had with my wife in the last round of the championship, I needed to finish 1 and 2 to win the team's championship, but I had a driver who could have won the driver's championship, but because of the quality of the hand of the other player, I had to have them swap positions to take the team's championship but give up the driver's championship. It's like, he's like, that would have been very dramatic in real life. But yeah, so there's a real quick overview of La Corsa. I figure, like I said, people might be wondering how is it different from Heat. The answer is in pretty much every way. There's no reason to give a pass on one game or the other just because they have the same theme of 1960s Formula One cars. They are both fun in their own way. So that's the first time I've talked about board games on this channel. But yeah, I really like this game.